I'm a Diablo 4 super fan. But there's another game that holds my hand. Though I can't admit it in the light. Path of Exile keeps me up at night. When they see me playing PoE, I say it's not what it seems. I'm just testing things, don't you see? But secretly it's my favorite dream. Diablo 4, oh yeah, I swear I love it more than I can bear. But in the shadows I confess, Path of Exile is my true unrest. In the forums I pretend devotion, praising D4 like it's the ocean. But deep down my heart's exposed to PoE, it's clearly posed. I'm a secret fanatic, my love for Exile's tragic. Cover it up with sarcastic lines, but PoE's where my heart intertwines. Diablo 4, oh yeah, I swear I love it more than I can bear. But in the shadows I confess, Path of Exile is my true unrest. In the forums I pretend devotion, praising D4 like it's the ocean. But in the shadows I confess, Path of Exile is my true unrest.
Hello, hello. Testing. And let's pop this off. Nope. Hello. All right, another black screen. And get rid of the timer. And let's see. This was working again. Nope. This. Yeah, that's kind of it. All right. So we got Zizern reacted to my recent video, and this is, I think, the first time Zizern's reacted to any of my videos before. So we're gonna watch that in maybe a minute. Happy Turkey Day, everybody, for your minion. Expired 888. Thanks for the first time chat. Air Tree, Charles, Woong, Wang Hung Li Lo. Hello, everybody. Sorry if I butcher everyone's name. I think yesterday we were almost done with Rax and DM's chat, so maybe I'll finish that up, or we'll start on the Zizarin react. But I think I want to start with just finishing up DM and Rax's chat, and then finally get into learning some more about PoE2. I'm still on the fence of what class I'm going to go. Ranger's kind of calling me a little bit more today than the monk, but I guess we'll see. Wang Hung Lo, it's a meme name anyway. Oh, hey D-Man, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you had a good one also. Do you see the Diablo YouTube cooking video? No, there's a Diablo YouTube cookie. Oh, is it on their like official site? They come out with like stupid videos every now and then. Like before Vessel of Hatred was out, they had like them playing with puppies, and I was just like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you? we don't want to watch you play with puppies. Yes, I know there's pets in the game now, but this is not, it's not cool. It's just not cool. What we want to see is like really cool content, not you playing puppies or cooking like this looks like it'd be in the world of Diablo. Yeah, I got distracted. What am I looking for? Finishing up Rax and DM's chat from yesterday. And I believe we were looking at DM's channel. I just having a brain fart. There it is. Schedule. It was Wednesday. Watch. Oh, good.
Yeah, one thing that I always...
All right. I think it's picks up where we left off. So we're going to finish this. And then Zizarin reacted to my video I heard. So I've not seen his react. We're going to take a look at it. I do think he's recovering from a cold or he's currently sick. So I don't know. I don't know. He might just be watching. Who knows? We'll find out together. Let's see what DM and Rax have to say. And is anyone switched their ideas on what they're... Also, by the way, D-Man, are you playing PoE2? Are you going to be a PoE2 person? Also, Inferior Minion? Both long-time viewers. Curious to know if what your plans are. You feel like Ziz is always sick? I don't follow him too much, but I'm definitely going to now that I'm doing PoE2 content. But the past 2 or 3 times in like the year that I've noticed he was sick. Like, I guess he streams sick. Some content creators don't stream sick. Going to start Witch. D-Man Witch. Oh yeah, you're Witch Hunter, of course. I forgot, dude. Inferior going Ranger. Dude, I might be going Ranger also. All right.
Talk about, like, sometimes people ask me questions about content creators and what do I think of this content creator, and this guy does this one thing so different.
Can you hear Rax?
The best thing that could possibly happen is all of us are different. If we all play this,
he's basically saying content creators being all different is a great thing because we do want variety. We don't all want to be going Ranger and going hard on Ranger, going all the same build. We want to have variety. So that's maybe why, I mean, people don't watch my videos for guides or anything, but I also don't want to be like the meta build.
the same class and play the same way.
Inferior, as a Mac gamer, you'll be on PS5. I'm sure, and look, you can play with everyone, but look into NVIDIA GeForce Now. If you want to play on your Mac, it'll make it, I'm sure after a day or two, they'll have it up, and it's a really good program for cloud gaming.
And have the same interests and make the same videos. It's just absolute garbage, right? Like, we know, like, Al Kaiser was in my channel earlier. I said, hey, buddy, you go in Melee, you go in Titan? He goes, of course. It's like, you know, he's the Melee guy. Him and Karn are going to go do that. And we know Ghazi is going to do the minion stuff. Yep. And, you know, it's very refreshing, I think, to get people to get different takes. And I don't think people are, like, necessarily trying to start drawing.
DM is the druid, Woody is the rogue, Rob is Barb, Frosty is Sork. Interesting, you think I might be a Sork. It makes sense. I like frost magic, but the monk has more frost magic moves that seem powerful compared to the Sork right now until the third ascendancy is out. But I don't know. I also like rogue, but like when you watch Woody, you're watching an elite pro player play rogue. If you watch me play rogue, it's like you're watching some horrible, really bad player play rogue, and you're just like, you know, I'm better than that guy, and it makes you feel better. Lumen XR, you gave me a link timestamp in Discord if you want to give Hog Tua a nudge in a future video. Is there a hog video that you posted? What does that mean? No, what do you mean humble, dude? You see me play. You seen me play my rogue. It's not. I'm not that great.
But people are always like fishing for your opinion on someone's like specific content. Like, there's obviously stuff that everyone generically hates, like clickbaiting and stuff like that. But like you said, I think a lot of people like your content because you do have a different
I
perspective
might
than
do a
people that have
clickbait
just
tier list video.
grinded it all the time. But at the same time, I know what you mean. Like, whatever you grew up with, you always kind of like gravitate back toward it. So I like millions and millions of different kinds of games, but since I grew up playing Diablo 2 and stuff, that's where I gravitate back to all the
Oh,
time.
so they're talking about their future content that they might be making. And DM likes a bunch of different things. Like he likes MMOs, RuneScape, ARPGs. He didn't always play only ARPGs, but I think Rax did. And that's roughly what I'm just saying they've been talking about. We're picking up from yesterday. We were watching them. It was like 3 a.m. here. So if anyone's missed out, DM and Rax just had a long conversation about random topics. They go back to PoE2 though, so that's where we're in the PoE2 chat. And after this, we're going to watch Zizarin. For the first time, I think, watch one of my videos. I'm not positive he's watched my videos before because I usually make Diablo videos. So he's sick, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure it'll be awesome. I'm just super stoked that he watched my video. So typically, when someone reacts to one of my videos on stream or they post a video, I feel like there's a better term for open season on using them in my videos. But I feel like if they've reacted to my videos, I can now use them in my videos going forward. So you'll probably see Zizarin, you'll see Quinn. There's so many people who watch my most recent video that I don't even know. If I make a compilation video, there's a lot of people that are going to be in it, which is awesome.
Yeah, MMOs are...
Isn't that... No, that's not Gazzy. That was Zizarin. Gazzy actually watched it too.
So I don't really know. I feel like the golden time for MMOs has kind of peaked. Yeah, I know you said you played WoW is like some of the most you've ever played. So maybe you feel a similar way, but I feel like MMOs are kind of on a little bit of a decline. I haven't really felt like a mega good MMO in a long time that I can remember.
I play WoW.
Yeah, I think I have about
Andy.
23,000 hours in WoW. That's a lot. It's more than any other game in my life. Love WoW. I don't think any MMO has been even close to as good as WoW. I
agree.
Honestly, probably my second favorite MMO, which unfortunately has pay-to-win aspects. I actually really liked Lost Ark. A lot of people don't like it for various reasons. I thought Lost Ark was pretty great, actually. It reminds me of the Riot MMO, right? Like Riot usually doesn't miss. Whenever they make a game, it's usually pretty godly. And they were working on the Riot MMO forever, and I was like super drinking the copium on that. I thought that was just going to be god tier.
I don't want to block the mana pool.
Then they canceled it, and the reason that they canceled it is they said it's been delayed indefinitely because they realized they were making just the same MMO that everyone has always been seeing. And one thing that I think has, and I see how brutal this zone is. You're just getting shit on no matter what you do. Yeah.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but I wish they did go away with the Tetris inventory. I get the charm, but quality of life. I agree. I do like when the inventory is a little bit more. You can fit more stuff in it because then you get to go to town less. But like, do you want to be like Diablo where it's like everything's like takes up like one block? Or do you want to like maybe 1 block, some things are 2 blocks instead of it being like diagonal, horizontal, 8 blocks? I don't know. I've not played PoE that much recently, so I'm not too upset with it, but I can see it being your inventory gets filled up pretty quickly, and that could be annoying. Tetris is too iconic. All right, I mean, it could be something they change down the line, but I think I'm okay with it now, as long as I get enough teleport back to town potions or scrolls.
Thing that I think is unfortunate is it's not just MMOs, it's also the ARPG genre. The genre itself has not really evolved much. So like a lot of people would consider Diablo 2 not only
Thanks for the raid, Uber Goob. Really appreciate that, dude. First time chatter also. Welcome everybody. We're watching the end of a conversation between Rax and DM. They're just talking about overall content creation. They're talking about PoE2. Then we're gonna go watch Zizarin. Earlier today watched my video. And I think it's the first time he's ever reacted to one of my videos. He's a bit sick today. And basically now I can use him in my videos going forward for PoE2. So a lot of the PoE2 creators have watched my videos, and of course they're going to be in my videos going forward. So it should be a fun time.
only one of the first ARPGs, but
No, you have unlimited scrolls. That's awesome. I love being able to teleport to town indefinitely. I didn't like having limited scrolls in other games. To be honest, the old school Diablo inventory is nice for me as a legally blind gamer. Makes it easier for you to click, identify different items versus D4, everything. I mean, look, that's really good accessibility, I will say. So maybe they should keep it. Like if it helps people, the fact that you're able to play in legally blind, that's awesome. I'm always up for accessibility options because right now I'm like eventually going to lose function in my thumbs, and I got what is this? I think I got a few more years in my thumbs, but I got this. Oh shit, can I even show you? It'll probably not be able to show you because it'll like disappear. But I have 4 tabs behind this controller here. I don't use this yet. I just got this for Monster Hunter Wilds because hitting these buttons and moving my thumb back and forth between the joystick and the buttons eventually starts hurting my thumbs after a while. And so having all the buttons back here to hit and not having to hit A, Y, X, B with my thumb is going to be a game changer for me. Yeah, Wilds is going to be, it's in my top 3 favorite games. So I'm playing the crap out of PoE2 for a few months. Then at the end of February, I'll be playing Wilds. I'll probably play Diablo for like a few days, but that game needs to work on the end game because it's like after 3 days of playing, it's like you're done. PoE2 and Wilds are eating good next year. Completely agree. Those are going to be my 2 main games for next year. Like, I don't think there's anything else coming out next year that I'm remotely hyped for compared to Wilds and PoE2. You thought I was a real Diablo super fan? I am. Yep, damn right. I'm only playing these games for research purposes only. It will be bad when it first comes out, Wilds, but they'll optimize it. I'm also worried a little bit about PoE2 when it first comes out, but they're going to keep optimizing it. After a few weeks, it'll be good. I think the first week, if you have like a super high-end PC, you'll be fine. A decent PC, you'll at least get over 30 frames per second when it's like pretty bad. The servers are going to be on fire for the weekend it launches. It's going to be completely on fire for the weekend it launches. Like, if they get this shit under control as fast as Vessel of Hatred did that first day, kudos. Like, I wouldn't even mind. Like, it's supposed to come out, I think, at 3 p.m. on Friday, Eastern time, US. So I don't know what that is everywhere else. If they get it up by 6 hours later, 9 p.m., I'm going to find that to be like, that's a win. If they end up doing a queue system, I'm a little concerned because I'll be at work and then I'll get home and there'll be like 10,000 people in queue and I'll just be like, oh, you have 3 hours before you get on. And if I see that, I'm going to take a nap for like an hour or two. 11 PST, 2 p.m. EST. Yeah, I'm just like, for people in Europe, I don't know what the conversion would be for 3 p.m. EST. Uber Goob, your Diablo 4 super fan. GTA next year as well. Oh shit, GTA 6 is next year. It's probably the end of next year. That game, I haven't really seen two people explode in hype over it yet. So I still think they need some time.
But also potentially the peak of ARPGs.
Lax Mew, hey dude, how's it going, dude? On YouTube.
It's like we'll see if PoE2 can reverse this narrative. But if you take Diablo 2 and you point at, and you're going to point to some genre defining things that have undoubtedly made the genre better, it's like, well, okay, PoE definitely has done a great job of advancing the end game. You got no doubt about that. And maybe you could say Last Epoch did a great job of evolving the skill system where every single skill has its own tree. It's both has a lot of depth and it's very accessible at the same time. So that's a little bit of an evolution. And then
That's true.
I'm sitting here trying to think about other major revolutions to the ARPG genre, and I'm struggling to find them. So that's what we've gotten in 20 years. And it's kind of the same problem that you described. It's just we're just essentially getting reskinned same ideas over and over and over. And it's kind of hard to imagine, but is there really no way to innovate on the genre? And I don't.
For ARPG innovation, I think the best thing that I'm seeing, at least with PoE2, making bosses complicated and hard to fight. Like, and you're seeing it often. It almost and most things are a lot harder while leveling. I think a lot of people from ARPGs that are used to just blasting right off the bat are gonna have a little growing pains when it first comes to jumping into PoE2, especially melee players. Melee players who are just casual gamers are going to get in and they're going to die in the first few levels, especially when they get to their first boss. And it's going to be like, you're going to have to learn the boss mechanics or you're going to have to out level it. So I hope they don't lose a lot of the casual audience, because that is also where a lot of the money is. And I want them to have as much money as they can to just keep making the game better. So I would want to say their innovation is making it more kind of like how Dark Souls made RPGs, like having a hard RPG. People were just like, oh shit, there's no real story, that there's no dialogue, there's a lot of things missing. It's just a really hard RPG. Even Elden Ring, it's just people ended up loving that when that came out. So the fact that PoE2 is going to be like a lot harder of an ARPG could be their niche. Could be like, you know, you could just have like a really easy time playing Diablo, which is always the case, or even Path of Exile. Path of Exile is complicated, but you can just, if you go like a build, you can just wreck stuff without really having to worry too much about the mechanics until you're at end game. And I don't know much. Like, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Lurking while I take the corgi. Good. All right, man. Have fun with your dog on your walk. 3 p.m. EST is 7 p.m. in London. 7 p.m. in London might be a little risky, because it's like, if servers go up right away, you're fine. You got a few hours of fun, but like most likely there's going to be some shit hitting the fan. ARPG innovation I see would be improving bossing, environment, dynamics, improved quality, graphics, sound. I think graphics and sound is always going to be the improvement going forward. And that's what people expect. But the bossing thing is where I think PoE2 is going to like explode on. And just in general, like elite monsters. Like I saw that certain elite affixes and prefixes change how an elite even works. Like, you can see an elite in Act 2 that's like a quill boar. I know Diablo stuff, so it's like a big porcupine. It shoots like one porcupine spike at you, but then it has like a certain augment like in Act 3 that makes it so it like shoots 20 spikes, or if it hits you it freezes you or something. Like, I like that stuff. You really don't see that much of a change in the Diablo games when things are like, you're like, oh, he's got double health, or he can throw a wall up. Doesn't actually augment the abilities of the character itself, which I think PoE2 is doing. Vessel of Hatred was set to release at 1 a.m. and then came out. And then, yeah, it was like a 7-hour delay for Vessel of Hatred. And they're a multi-billion-dollar company. It's like Microsoft plus Blizzard, Activision. So this is I know it's not a small company, but it's smaller in comparison. They are using Amazon Web Servers, AWS, Amazon. I think it's Amazon Web Servers. But they already bought the amount of servers they needed. And they look completely shocked by the hype that this game is getting. So I know that's awesome and they're super happy, but they can't just call up Amazon and be like, yo, just give us like 5,000 more servers just for launch. They need to negotiate that. They need to sign contracts. They can't just have a ton of servers for the launch weekend and be like, okay, you could take them back now. Like, we don't want to pay for them anymore. So I don't know. Fingers crossed that I'm able to play at least at some point the night of launch.
I don't know. Maybe there isn't, but we really haven't seemed to figure it out yet.
Sometimes I wonder if what I actually want is innovation in a genre or just like a remastering of what I already previously liked. No Rest for the Wicked comes to mind. I liked that game, but it feels like a totally different game. Like they were trying to reimagine ARPGs in Jimro, and it just felt like a completely different genre. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's when I play that, it's like I feel like a lot like that's a fun game. But
yeah,
it
don't
felt
take the
to
day
Elden
of
Ring
launch
than
off.
it did like Diablo, like PoE, like type of game. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I see people that do like the very different take on it for the sake of different. And I'm thinking more MMOs with this, to be honest, because I see MMOs are always trying something wacky because they kind of have to, because the genre itself hasn't been changed in so long. But it's just, I feel like if someone just made a really good.
So I play WoW, and they innovate every like 2 expansions or so. So they came out with something called like Mythic Plus. So it's like a 5-man group that is really hard end game content. And this recent expansion, there's like single player dungeons that give you really good gear. It's cool, but I don't know. Unless you've been playing World of Warcraft for many years, I don't ever suggest jumping into that game. It'll just suck up way too much time, and it'll take so much to learn everything. It's almost like I don't think it's as intense as Path of Exile 1 when it comes to learning all the systems in the game, but mastering a class and learning the systems will take a long time.
Return to the standard MMO. Do you think it would do well, or do you think the audience has moved past like enjoying what they previously did and now actually need it to be significantly different in order to enjoy it, or are we just seeing lower quality versions that aren't, up to today's tech?
So the 2 parts there. The first part about No Rest for the Wicked, love the game. In fact, I really only had one complaint about
I like No
the game
Rest.
and how I played it. I agree, it felt like a different genre almost. Felt more like Dark Souls or anything.
Yeah.
My complaint was I started the game like 2 seconds into the game with like a 12 DPS weapon. And then in like the middle game, I had like a 16 DPS weapon. And then in the end game, I was farming with a 30 DPS weapon, and I was trying to upgrade it to like a 36 DPS weapon. Now, I don't want it to be Diablo, like Diablo, where we're hitting for trillions and trillions, but the upgrade, like the amount of times that I meaningfully upgraded my gear in my full playthrough of No Rest for the Wicked was almost 0. And that did not feel good. That was the part that was like the most disappointing to me. Was I really didn't feel like I was getting better stuff at all as I went further in the game. That's like the biggest bummer for me. When on your second question, where
So steal from Eastern games, you're wanting more classes and subclasses in ARPGs. I agree. I love new classes. I think that's what makes things like fresh and awesome, even if the game, like, you're just not adding much to the game. Then again, I've not played PoE 1 that much, so I know that they're adding a lot of mechanics and stuff to the game, but when Diablo 3 came out with the Necromancer DLC pack where we were able to buy the Necromancer to play. I know a lot of people were upset by that because it was like, oh, you have to pay for a class. That's like ridiculous. I liked it. I was just like, look, I keep coming out with new classes. I will pay for them. Like, come out with like a vampire class, I'll pay for it. Pay for it. I don't know, like Spiritborn, I'll pay for it. Like, pretty much that's what I feel like Vessel of Hatred was. It's like nothing they added in Vessel of Hatred. I was like, oh hell yeah, this is freaking awesome. I love this so much. I liked the Spiritborn. I liked having the new class. I could have lived without having the multiplayer dungeon, which I did like once. I really just liked it for the new class. And if they want to just not make a new campaign, like I didn't give a crap about the campaign. Cut the campaign out. Just give me 2 new classes in an expansion, but barely any campaign, and I'll be happy.
If people just went back, I think the question was if the people went back to the roots of MMO and re-released that and did really well,
I did love
would that
the
be
evade
something
build.
that people would gravitate to?
Yep.
And I think we could answer that with just empirical evidence. I cannot tell you how many times since 2005 I have heard that this MMO is going to be the WoW killer. This MMO is going to be the WoW killer. It has never even remotely, even an ass hair, come even close to being true. When people want to play the vintage old school WoWs, WoW shut down that market completely by releasing WoW Classic. Only Fangs right now is going crazy playing WoW, and people love that shit. You can't kill WoW by trying to imitate WoW and do it better than them. They've already done it, and they
WoW
usually
can't even
just
kill
they
WoW.
still even do it better than other people just by re-releasing what they first had. I think you are going to need an
All right,
innovation.
for anyone pop it in now, we're watching Rax and DM talking. They've talked about PoE2, that we're watching PoE2 in the background. They're going and talking about MMOs and future content creation. We're going to be watching Zizarin react to my video, and I think it's the first time he's ever reacted to one of my videos. So I'll be probably clipping him out of context for some PoE2 videos going forward. And then we're going to actually get to some interviews of PoE2 stuff. Maybe I'll watch the Talkative Try video for like the past 2 interviews he's done. If anyone else has any suggestions on good content for PoE2 videos, I'm down to watch that a little later on.
To even try to take it down, and I haven't seen anything come even close to doing it.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I think it has no chance. None.
The one that I keep seeing recently, people are talking about Ashes of Creation, and I haven't played it really yet.
I don't know anything about Ashes of Creation, but can I tell you something though about it, like the concept that you had that I thought was done brilliantly, but has nothing to do with MMOs? Is a couple of years ago they released Metroid Dread. Did you ever play that?
I did not. I've been saving that one for like an off-stream playthrough in which I really get to enjoy it because I know it's sort of a bring back of what the original Metroid basically was, like a kind of a remastering of the 2D style.
It's a 2D style Metroid. If you want, when you come visit, we can do a full playthrough. I have it. I love that
game.
Oh
my God, I forgot they're visiting. Holy shit. He better stream when Riker and DM go and visit, because when they did that live broadcast, when they went to playtest the Vessel of Hatred expansion, I got so much content out of that. That was freaking awesome. So please stream, guys. If you hang out, stream as much as you possibly can. I need the content.
I'm telling you, man, that game's a 10. It's so good. It feels like you're playing Super Metroid, and it's got really the same feeling. It just has better graphics and better movement, but it definitely feels Super Metroid-esque. I thought that game was unbelievably good. I am praying that they make more games like that. So there are certainly examples where you go back to the roots of what really worked and just do it a little bit better, and you're going to have a godly game. I'll give you an example of something that they took a godly game and they changed it, and I think that they just made it worse. Was the Final Fantasy VII they're not remasters.
Yes,
they're
yes,
rebirths or
it's
whatever.
arguably worse now.
I think it would have been way better. In fact, I know it would have been a million times better if they would have just taken Final Fantasy VII, made absolutely no changes to the game, and just put better graphics.
Diablo 2
turn-based,
Resurrected
everything.
for 7.
Instead, they made it like an MMO. It's open world. It's got these quests. It's a beautiful game. I'm probably going to be nominated for Game of the Year, but here's the problem. It's not Final Fantasy VII. It just isn't.
I don't think
it's
it
not
was
the same game. And I think it's just worse. Even though they did a nice job with it, I think it's just worse.
I've never been much of a Final Fantasy guy. The only one I played was 11 and 14, and I played 14 for about an hour. So I don't really have any take.
I played 8, 9.
Was it pretty poorly received by the community then?
10, 11.
It's very. It was kind of split.
And 14.
Like, there's no denying the graphics are amazing. There's a lot of content. It does have the original characters in it. The story, for the most part, follows the same story. I'm not even saying that they did a bad job, but most of the really, really hardcore Final Fantasy people were just disappointed by it. It's very simple. This is just the easiest way I can explain it. It's not Final Fantasy VII. If you really like Final Fantasy VII and you really like if you really like the Rebirth, that's fine. But they could have called it Jim Bob's Adventure, and I think that would have been more accurate to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is not
high praise, dude.
Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. I've beaten it a million times. I one-shot Emerald Weapon. I one-shot Ruby Weapon. I have the gold chocobos. I have the high scores in all the gold saucer games. I know Final Fantasy VII. I don't need a history lesson on the game. It just isn't Final Fantasy VII. Ooh. It's not close enough for me to call it that. And they should have just stayed way... you already had the best game ever. You should have stayed way truer to what it just was. It honestly reminded me of kind of a shitty version of WoW. I felt like, I'm in the open world. You go do these 30 tasks. Go pick up these 6 eggs. Go do this little battle over here. It felt like
shit.
They tried to make it into like a new age MMO, and I'm like, bro, I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII. What the hell is this? But the world was really awesome. They did have good stories. I mean, they did have fun little mini games.
For anyone who's watching the background B-roll, this is DM playing his warrior class in the beta test he was able to go and try out. He was trying to rush the game really quickly, so he's under-leveled for this area he's in. You might see him die. You might see him take like one hit and it chunks him down to half health. He's very under-leveled right now. So if you're thinking like, hey, I want to be a warrior, they don't suck. He's just very under-leveled right now.
That they put in, like, I'm not denying that. I did beat the whole thing. It's fine, but it's worse than if they just would have made Final Fantasy VII with better graphics.
My only experience with it was my girlfriend's a big Final Fantasy fan, and there is a moment in that game where you get to play on the piano, and you get to do like this piano minigame in Final Fantasy.
Yep.
And I actually really enjoyed that. I thought it was super fun. So every time she came across that, I'd be like, yo, let me play the piano game. Like, that part's super fun. And I thought that was really enjoyable, but that's pretty much my only experience with it.
Thanks, Paw. I'm really nice. Thank you for that nice comment. Also, everyone who just followed, thank you so much for the follows. Let me just read off a bunch of names. By the way, I can't read names properly. I will butcher them. Uber Goob, thanks for the follow. Greg's, thank you for the follow. Gale Strike, Hazimoto, Destrin Does, Zektico, The Real VHF, and Zetox, whatever. Thank you all for the follow. I appreciate that.
Because other than that, I just wouldn't play because I'm not really like a Final Fantasy person. So, I'm going to wrap up the conversation with one more. We'll bring it back to PoE2 here for a second, and I'll let you go. Favorite thing that you are looking forward to to do? Like, what is the one thing when you think of, okay, Path of Exile 2 is coming out, what are you most excited to focus on? Is it like pinnacle boss, try to get there? Is it getting to level 100? Is it gear finding? Is there anything in particular you can think that sort of stands out that you're mostly excited by?
Endgame.
Yes.
Grinding the end game?
Yes.
I mean, I have an end game in a game. That's Christmas morning and Thanksgiving and Halloween and my birthday, all wrapped into one. I just want an end game. I can beat. I think I can beat Diablo 4. I think I can kill from a fresh character. I think I can kill T4 Lilith from a fresh character within 6 hours. I can beat the hardest boss on the hardest
it
difficulty
would take me maybe 12.
in 6 hours. A naked level 1 character in Torment 4. There's nothing to do. So
Maybe
yeah,
14.
The thing I'm most excited for is doing stuff. I mean, I'll do anything, man. I like anything. Endgame. That's it.
Things to do. Thanks.
Dinsmore, thank you so much for the resubscribe. Resubscribe for 4 months. Thank you so much, dude.
To do.
What's my favorite thing to do? Anything.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're when I ask you what you're looking forward to, you're like, oh, I actually have things to do. It's like, oh man, poor man, feel down bad.
I'm the thing that I'm most frustrated on. Just I guess essentially just to say the same thing I just said is, I need a game where I can sink a ton of hours into and still feel like I'm progressing in not only within the end game content itself, but actually.
Like in Diablo 4, you can progress in the end game, but it's like so minor. And you can be farming like an entire night and like you get like maybe you get an upgrade or maybe you farmed an entire night to get enough boss materials to try and attempt to get the Uber you wanted. You kill it, like literally you spend 6 hours farming materials and you get literally nothing. It feels bad. And you don't even need that stuff. You're already able to kill the Uber bosses in like 10 seconds at that point. You're just trying to get some better gear to push Pit a few more levels further. And that's what I feel like the end game of Diablo is right now. It's just like if you feel like pushing Pit a little further, you can now grind for like 100 more hours if you want.
Pumping up my character. I need it desperately. I need challenges. I need mega rewards. I need things to strive for. Diablo 4 has such great, like a great base. It has good bones now. It has a good structure, but I think it needs a lot of work in the things that they can put on top of it. And I just need something to do, man. I'm sorry. That's just it. What about you, man? What are you looking forward to?
My favorite part remains the same of the game. Since I tested it the first time, the bosses.
That's Diablo-like, yes.
Are the funnest part.
Yes, Molly.
I like pounding my head against an obstacle, refusing to leave until I kill it. And I know you kind of can't do that once we get to maps. It's, you get one shot, you die, it's over. But getting through the campaign is
Joe, welcome for the first time, chat.
Enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to experiencing all the bosses. And since there's like no early access, hopefully people don't buy literally everything. We can just go into the game. That means everyone is not only on the same
DM's
page,
a little low.
but
Their conversation's
these
almost
bosses are
over.
gonna catch people off guard. So I'm also looking forward to watching the hardcore death clips from people that go in blind hardcore, like the Ultra Giga Chads, to try to like beat the game blind first time. That's going to make for some entertaining content as well. So I think the live streaming, it's going to be really fun. I know the game is already really fun, and the end game I'm not worried about because it's Path of Exile. So I know it's going to be there. But I think I'm mostly looking forward to the boss fights, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like one piece of the thing that I said is I'm looking forward to the challenge, man. I'm looking forward to grinding gear games, putting things in front of me that I just don't quite know how to solve right now. And it's like, okay, well, I better not go try that guy again until I get way stronger. And oh, wait a minute, I don't even know how to get way stronger. Okay, let me look at my gear. Okay, I think my gear is good, but my gear is actually probably garbage. I better learn how to craft. I better learn how to do this, how to do that. I better make my passive tree better. Like, I'm interested to be a student of the game, and then once we finally overcome these challenges, probably gonna feel like $1 million, man.
Well, 9 more days to go, brother. 9 more days. Thanks for taking the time to chat. I'm looking
What we
forward
got?
to seeing you in
7,
person.
8 more days.
And,
8 more days to
We're
go.
gonna play Metroid Dread, man. That game, you're gonna have so much.
7.5
fun. So
days
much
to
fun.
go.
Are you gonna have
so good.
Are you gonna have a hot tub there
Oh,
so that we can do a hot tub live stream together
okay.
and be on the front page of Twitch as all hot tub live streamers get to do?
I have to write this down.
I can only get so hard. I don't
God.
have a hot tub, but I'm sure if
Timestamp.
there's a hot tub in Nebraska, we can find one.
120.
All right, I'll bring my streamer backpack then.
Hot
All right, buddy.
tub.
Thanks
Yes.
for
Get
taking
hard.
the hour and
Thanks,
some change
DM.
here to chat everything about PoE2.
Sweet.
Yes,
Okay.
Always a pleasure, man. You get to meet Callie soon, and I'll see you in game. We'll probably be in the Quee, not able to play, and I don't know. We can play. Are you a chess player? We should play bullet chess while we're waiting.
I have if you can last long enough, I'll have you know.
If you can last
I
long
have some
enough, got
elo.
it.
That's one way I'm going to put it. I'm pretty sure I'm in the triple digits of elo, so I think I'm at least 250 last time I checked. So you might have a fight on your hands. I know what the pieces do. I know that the one goes like
250,
this, and the
huh?
other one goes like that. So it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I'm terrified. This is going to be. I think this is. Maybe I better stick to Hog and Woody. No, Hog actually plays, and so I take it from that answer that you don't play much.
No, I play chess. I'm just memeing.
Oh yeah,
I was in a
are
chess
you
club
good?
as well, no, I'm good. I was in a chess club as a kid. Like I don't actually try hard or anything, but yeah, I used to play chess.
Bro, let's play, dude.
It'd be fun.
Dude, I hope you just kick my ass. That would make me so happy. I love chess.
I watched Queen's Gambit once. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Was it Beth Harmon or what?
Yeah, it's good. I've heard about Sicilian defense, and I look up into my ceiling and I see all the pieces memorized moving in my head.
Dude, DM has like the best reactions to my videos. I love when he reacts to my videos. And now he has his editor Jim is doing a great job at editing his videos together. So he comes out with a reaction to one of my videos now, and like I can just clip a section of it, and like I don't even feel like I have to do any editing. It feels kind of weird just lifting it, but literally he's watching my video on his video, so I'm just gonna watch him watching my video on my video. It's equivalent exchange.
Queen.
This guy's a god.
5, whatever. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm as good at chess as I am in PoE, bro.
Jim Tendo,
Watch
yes.
The Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, you know what, dude? I gotta message him. Let me just message him.
An actual chess player, like not that I am one, but any real chess player would find that so cringe because everything that they did to sensationalize chess is not how it goes at all. Like you don't go to a chess tournament and say, you better resign now, otherwise I'm gonna checkmate you. No one has ever said that in the history of chess ever. People just quietly play and then the game is over and no one says anything and then they leave. But of course that wouldn't make for a good Netflix show. So they had to like make it into some really interesting story that chess isn't.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't exactly do like anal vibrators either.
Oh my god!
For the Netflix show, and I guess that has arguably happened IRL. So maybe reality is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Yeah, the sequel to Queen's Gambit is going to be called Hans Niemann, and it's going to be the more realistic version of what chess is.
Okay.
Right, before Frosty clips out of context, we better get the fuck out.
It's too late, dude.
All right, man. GG's. Have a great night.
All right, cheers, brother. Good
it's too late.
Later.
All right. Shout out to my boy Rax for the Chatterino cappuccino. Go get my phone.
Oh my god, I don't think PoE2 people are ready for the shit that I do with.
All right, that was the man.
With them in that way,
the
but
myth, the legend.
I don't know, dudes.
Blue hoodie himself incarnate.
Oh my god. Okay. That was a fun conversation between Rax and DM. We're ready, you're saying? Okay. Well, it'll be at the end of the video. So if people were able to like watch until towards the end, maybe 2/3 in, I'll have it. It's not going to start with it. That would just throw a bunch of people off. Holy crap. That's awesome. We're going to watch Zizarin. He reacted to my video. He's a little sick right now. So I don't know how animated he's going to be, but he's the first time I think he's reacted to my videos. This is going to be the first time I'm watching it. I got it queued up because I started scrolling through and I see, oh, my video's here. So we're going to start watching them. I got to make sure the volume sounds good. But before I jump in, again, thank you for the follows, everyone. Halfroot, thank you for the follow. Eliol Joe, also I'm horrible with names, just saying that. Fatality, Crispy Crunch, Big Burry White, Furry 97, Doyle 005. Good evening, everybody. Uber Goob, you're gonna lurk on the YouTube too. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, you know, if you ever run into any ads on Twitch, I am live on YouTube. You can just switch over there. You don't have to subscribe. Just jump on over there, and it might be like a 2-second delay. I'm streaming to both right now, and I'll probably be doing that as often as I can. All right, let's get started on the Zizran one. But before I start, I just want to get a quick consensus. I do this once or twice every stream. What are people playing in PoE2? Last night when I asked, I was seeing a lot of Mercenary. I think Mercenary seems to be like blowing up because Jonathan said it's going to be good at early endgame. And I was looking at Rob's stream the other day and he had like a fake tier list where it was like an S tier. Monk Evoker is, which one is, I know there's two monks. There's one monk that's like, I call it like Jedi and Sith monks. The Sith one looks really cool, but the Jedi one has a lot of like frost magic that I think I'm going to end up going. I'm either going to go the Frost monk or Ranger. And just because Ranger, no one seems to really love Ranger. Sorceress, Archmage, Witch minion. I'm seeing a bunch of Sorcerers today. Ooh, I got a Warrior. Predfine, you're a Warrior, dude. Like Gratz, that's very rare. I don't see that often. I don't see Ranger or Warrior often. Ice or Lightning Sork. I think you probably want to go Lightning Sork because there's actually an ascendancy that improves lightning. And I don't think there's one that improves Frost at the moment. Oh, Ranger, dude. Congrats. Tony LaRue, that's what you're gonna go? Okay. Cryo. Oh, Cryo LaRue. Hey, dude. Welcome to the stream, Tony. I think Tony's gonna go Monk also. Lightning is going to be so good. Yeah, I think Lightning Sork is going to be amazing. I saw the most recent video. You know what? Let's see if I can pop that up. Let's see. I'll pop that out. YouTube. Oh, God, where is it? It's Path of Exile YouTube. There we go. All right, so this is the new Lightning Ball Sork. It's like a 40-second piece. It is nuts. Adjust that volume. I wish they showed like the health and mana. All right. This app seems giga strong. Yeah, it's got +5 to all lightning skills, which is ridiculous because there are lightning skills on the Ranger. So do you guys know if I have this staff in my offhand and I'm a Ranger, will I get the +5 if it's not currently in my main hand? Or I don't get that unless I'm using staff skills? How does that work? No, I don't get the skills. You have to be wielding it. Okay. All right, I guess that's in some way that's good because then you'd feel pigeonholed to go things like if you want to go ranger with lightning arrow, you'd be like, "Ooh, I have to get that staff." Now I don't feel like I have to get that staff. Now I can go things like a curse and debuff people with elemental resistance or something. Tony will be playing with me. He'll probably be ahead of me, so we'll be talking together most likely on launch day, but we won't be like in the same area fighting the same stuff. But yeah, me and Tony will be doing a playthrough most likely the weekend that it's out. I'm sure, right, Tony? You gonna be you down to stream PoE2? All right. Well, while he responds, Frosty's gonna be carrying Tony. Dude, I don't carry Tony. Down to play, but he's no streamer. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. I think it'll be fine. So this is Zizarin. I'm sure you guys know who Zizarin is. Anyone who plays PoE knows this guy. This guy is like the Giga Chad PoE player. I'm just gonna get the volume going, but he watched my video. We're about to go check that out now.
Is it a good video?
All right, hold on.
No.
Oh yeah, he looks a little sick. His eyes are glazed over.
Frosty LaRue, the Diablo-like ARPG. Is this a video dunking on, Yeah, it
It
is.
said my name. It said my name.
Is it a good video?
I think it's okay.
Where's the full announcement? Oh, here.
Your cast speed and damage increase rapidly as well. So if you're planning on transforming into a demon, make sure you stack a lot of
Where's the
Titan
totems?
class is all about hitting big.
Just put
With
myself there.
Earthbreaker, every slam is a chance to create an aftershock. Jade Heritage. Alternatively, you could become use back to what
Okay.
channels the on the warrior. You can choose between the Warbringer or the
He'll
Titan.
switch for me soon.
The Warbringer channels the might of his ancestors to gain tremendous power. Using Answered Call, you can summon ancestral spirits linked to each of your totems. With Jade Heritage, you can encase your body in a protective layer that absorbs all damage
Oh.
until it breaks.
Okay. That's not on my end. That's on his
Warcaller's
end.
Bellow
Right.
allows you to explode the corpses of your enemies. And with Great Wolf's Howl, you can ignore the
Okay.
cooldowns of your war cries.
I think the volume's good right
Let
now.
all that anger out.
It's pretty loud. It's pretty good.
The Titan class is all about hitting big.
A lot of people are Discord DMing me their spare keys, and I'll be giving them away now and again.
Oh damn, he's
Earthbreaker,
sick.
every slam is a chance to create an aftershock. With crushing impacts, every hit becomes a crushing blow, which will allow you to stun your enemies with ease. With surprising strength, you can take advantage of stunned enemies to deal 40% more damage.
Damn.
As a ranger,
That's what
you
I'm
might
playing.
choose
That's what I'm playing for sure. Okay, let's watch this video.
This is one of the strongest announcements I've ever seen in the history of ARPGs.
This is insane.
Holy crap, this is gonna be incredible.
This is old school RuneScape.
You gotta play it.
I'm excited.
This is perfect.
Diablo 4 is cooked.
See, this is what Diablo 4 should have been.
Like Diablo 4 is bad, Diablo 4 is dead.
I'm gonna quit Diablo 4.
That this beta has more depth to it than Diablo 4 does after the expansion. Like, this is fucking insane.
Welcome back, you freaking traitors. You probably clicked on this video to hear about Path of Exile 2, and that absolutely disgusts me. Anyway, in this video, I'll be going over all the major issues with Path of Exile 2, I clipped followed by Woody and a Rob recent really out of tweet by context the there. Diablo 4 Giga Chad himself, Rod Diablo-like Ferguson, as well as many other well-known Diablo 4 superfans' thoughts and plans in regards to Path of Exile 2. Alright, let's jump in and get to the major problems with this game.
Unfortunately, Path of Exile 2 will not be available on Mac OS at the start of early access, but we're keen to have this platform. Okay, so Mac gamers once again are taking an L.
Well, that sums up all the major problems with PoE2. Sucks to be you, Mac gamers. Anyway, on to bigger news. Let's recap the tweet heard by literally billions of people around the world.
Look at Rod Ferguson's tweet. Is this the Diablo-like thing? Is this that bullshit about that? Let me see if I can find it. Where's Rod Ferguson? There it is. Let me double check.
So, a couple of days ago, when the PoE2 stream ended, literally, X is blowing up, people are posting like crazy, holy crap, this is gonna be incredible. Rod Ferguson,
the general manager of all of Diablo, decided to go on Twitter and absolutely cook himself with this unhinged take.
Oh my goodness. Hog's got the video.
It's not an unhinged take, though. It's bad timing. Like, it is a correct take.
Yeah.
In my opinion. It's just weird and
true.
catty to say it now. It's just really weird timing.
Path of Exile 2 reveal was so epic it steamed Rod Ferguson.
Oh, he subscribed.
The genre of
did it on
ARPG
purpose.
Nice.
is
Of course he
starting to
did.
mean a lot of different things. Much like
He's also the
Souls-like
wrong
and
person to
roguelike.
say it.
I wonder if we could normalize Diablo-like for ARPGs that follow the Diablo formula.
Absolutely cannot believe
Damn, he's sick.
that this is real. Out of all the badass stuff that was showcased, after all the in-game, after all the Atlas rework, dual skill trees, and weapons that you can dual wield in one hand, all the 6 classes, and all this badass shit that they showed us yesterday at the Path of Exile 2 early access live stream, this right here was my favorite. That
He reminds me a bit of like It Me JP if he bought a farm.
shit triggered Rod Ferguson so bad that he had to go make a tweet.
Rod Ferguson is scared. He is threatened, though he's lashing out. Grinding Gear Games has made something tremendous with Path of Exile 2. It has Blizzard shivering, and the game isn't even out yet.
No wonder Rod was making tweets. No, this isn't an ARPG. It's just like Diablo. Like, yeah, sure, Rod. Getting mad.
Bruh, you ain't even followed the Diablo like you ain't even got a goddamn Diablo in your game. So just please go sit down and get out of here.
now maybe he's scared, maybe he's a little nervous, but the last thing you want to do is come across as petty. And that's how this looks.
I think it's very unprofessional. If I was the VP of a game company, I wouldn't be throwing shade. That's a very passive-aggressive way to throw shade at GGG and
To be fair, GGG threw shade at Blizzard too. Do you not remember? Like,
Before?
Einar's line, do you not have nets, Exile? So like,
Okay. I was making fun of Diablo
so, like,
Immortal.
They're both throwing
Everyone
shade at
makes
each
fun
other.
of
It's
Diablo
fine.
Immortal.
directly.
But this is such bad form. It is absolutely terrible. Like the timing on it, everything about it just looks really, really bad.
It does.
It comes across as jealous.
It does.
Well, hold up. You guys are the ones sounding jealous. Do you even know how freaking cool the term Diablo-like sounds? Look, I can completely see what Rod is talking about here, and the term Diablo-like is already spreading like wildfire. For example, when a game you are super hyped for launches and it's completely not what you expected, that's Diablo-like. When a company removes a key feature, like a charger for a phone, then sells that key feature back to you later on, that's Diablo-like. When a game has a skill tree system with no Dude, it's meaningful true. options, that's Diablo-like. When you are at a self-checkout, but you are asked to tip for doing the job the company you are tipping should be doing, well, that's Diablo-like. And lastly, when a game you took off for work for has a massive delay on launch that lasts for hours or even days, yeah, you guessed it right. That's The Error 37 Diablo-like. was the worst launch so you should ever. probably give Rod a little slack here. He knows what
I am not throwing rocks at the servers when we might have the same issues.
he That's is true. doing, and There's is gonna be completely issues, but not jealous at all about PoE2. In fact, PoE2
I'll throw rocks at servers if GGG nails it.
should be thanking Diablo, not the other way around, right?
The thing is that, and Grinding Gear Games would be the first people to say this, that they owe a lot to Diablo 3. Because Diablo 3...
So many people paused during
dog
that.
shit on release.
Okay.
Dude, when the PoE
I was like, where's he going with
came
this?
out, every single person in the general chat was talking about how shitty Diablo 3 was. And you know what's so fucking
He's
funny?
right.
Is when this game comes out, every single person in the general chat is going to be talking about how shitty Diablo 4 is.
Okay. Let's check in on some real loyal Diablo 4 super fans, who I am sure are going to stick with D4 instead of this Diablo-like PoE2.
Hey folks, this is Riker, and this week saw the most hype live stream the ARPG world has ever seen. The announcement of Diablo 4 season of The Witch Doctor, basically. No, obviously it was Path of Exile 2.
I am a starving man. I'm starving for Path of Exile 2.
Wait, has there been a Diablo announcement?
Kind of, like the mid-season crappy patch and then the season 7 stuff, but it's really... Don't worry about it.
They did a campfire the same day? Oh, shit! Again?
They didn't even
Do they
know?
always pick the same day?
Content, so I'm going to rewatch the same live stream for 15 days in a row until this game's out, okay?
Seems
My
unoptimal.
opinion,
It did so
this
much
is
worse.
One of the strongest announcements
trolling? No, I didn't
I've
know.
ever seen in the history of ARPGs.
I think I can kind of get away with
It was the least watched campfire they've ever done.
Oh
4,000
my
viewers.
God.
Holy shit. Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to put that in. I'm going to have to clip that.
Oh, fuck. Now, to be fair, D4 does really bad on Twitch and YouTube. Well, not so bad on YouTube. But it does really well on players. It really does. Like, it's fun to shit on it, but...
with less time spent from now on in Diablo 4 and more time invested into PoE2. I'm going to be blasting this game at the very least until Season 7 launches, and then probably go right back into PoE2.
Holy shit. Okay. All right. Rob, please.
Oh,
please
God.
tell me
I
you
can't
didn't
believe
drink the
Rob.
Kool-Aid too.
I'm really excited to jump into PoE come December 6th.
Okay, I give up. Let's at least try and figure out why this is happening.
Something that happened.
Real quick, has PoE2 hit number 1 yet on Steam? Because it was like number 2 or 3 last time I checked, and I swear it's going to be number 1 real soon. Is PoE2 out on the 6th? It is. It's out on the 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Still 3? Okay, all right. It's getting there. It's getting there. I swear it's gonna pop up. I mean, after the announcement, it probably sold a ton. So we'll see. I assume it's gonna hit number 1.
Happens almost every time a new action RPG launches is people saying there isn't enough in-game content.
Nah, that's never happened. I've personally, I've never seen that happen in an ARPG. I don't know what he's talking about.
This is a really good
It's
video.
not complicated and it's not intimidating at
Nice.
all, which is why Diablo 4 sold so well. Almost no barrier to entry. They're great for casual players. The problem is it lacks an end game almost entirely.
I'm really excited to
Yeah,
jump.
by the way, I think it was IGN or PC Gamer, I'm 80% sure it was IGN, that said when Diablo 4 launched that Diablo 4 has a really bad campaign, but, and I quote, a near perfect endgame, was the IGN review article when they came out.
Wow.
A near perfect endgame.
I mean, it's
Jump into
IGN,
PoE.
so you gotta take it with a grain of
biggest
salt.
reason
But that's
for
pretty
me
good.
By far,
Pretty good
is
praise.
Probably the crazy end game that they have. This focus on the end game is just absolutely crazy and fresh and new to me.
You're convinced IGN doesn't actually play the game when they review? I agree. I think there's a lot of IGN reviewers that like play for a few hours and just make up the rest. But whatever. They're saying the end game's near perfect. So let's just assume they're right on this one.
Rob looks like he runs really fast.
What?
I like his hairstyle. It's kind of similar to mine, but like affected more by wind.
I love what? I gotta write that
literally
down.
do that. I might do that.
Oh, God.
fresh and new
like
to me
it.
because coming from
It's aerodynamic.
Did he just say the focus on in-game is crazy and fresh and new to me? Yes, it is.
It looks like he runs really fast.
Yes,
Oh,
it
because his
is.
hair's...
after
I got
a
it.
certain amount of time, there is not that much to do in
I'm sorry, I have to laugh.
There truly is nothing to do.
Holy shit.
Yo, Darth is such a PoE player now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he
feel like
is.
he's like fully converted.
It's like 75% there.
Shit, dude. Dude, back to back, saying the same thing. I love how the reaction is the same from literally everyone.
Well, I guess that's not literally true, but there aren't really any great rewards for doing that. I don't have any super...
Wait a second. Elon Musk announced on Twitter he's doing PoE2. I think I saw something like that. Is he's going hard on PoE2? He must have been talking to Rob. Oh my God. Is that good or bad for PoE2 though? Is that going to be a good thing? Like if Elon's playing PoE2, like is that like some... I assume so. It's going to bring hype, right? He might even He announced it on Twitter, you said? Or yeah, X. It's called X now, dude. Whatever the hell. You can call it Twitter. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I guess that's gonna bring hype to it. Bad cannot buy the best gear. Oh. Yeah, he'll buy all the good gear. He'll probably buy all the microtransactions. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, he can even just like be like, hey man, like I really like the Ranger. Like here's like a few million, just make the Ranger OP. Who knows? Who knows what he can do? He's planning on playing warrior / magic caster, like a melee caster, or yeah, like a melee caster. That's cool. Battle mage. Of course, it's good for the game. It's free ad. That's true. I will say that PoE2 PoE is an amazing game. The issue I have with it, and not really have with it, but I feel like they have a problem with is advertising it. I've asked people like different levels of gamers, from like someone who doesn't even know what games, like they know nothing about games. They know what Diablo is. I asked them what PoE is, and they're like, they have no idea. Someone who casually plays games, not many of them, most of them don't know what PoE is. People who play games a lot, half of them know what PoE is. I think they need to advertise a bit more, but I understand you need a lot of money for that. But I think they're going to get a ton of money with this game. And if this game is as good as everyone thinks it's going to be, with like the end game that lasts for like ever, with Elon Musk playing it, they're going to generate enough revenue to like get that KFC double down promotion, like throw their name on like some Mountain Dews and stuff, and like get all those casual gamers to like buy into it, which is going to help them out like a lot.
Awesome mounts. I don't have any
really,
titles. My character
go back a little
isn't
bit.
Dude, back to back, saying the same thing. I love how the reaction is the
Dude,
same
Jonathan's
from
awesome.
literally everyone.
Well, I guess that's not literally true, but there aren't really any great rewards for doing that. I don't have any super awesome mounts. I don't have any titles. My character isn't glowing. I can't link you an item that is so rare and so godly that you wouldn't be able to find it yourself from all the hours that I put into it. The rewards are just not there.
Man, it gets worse.
Thank you for lurking.
Nothing to do, no reason to do the things there are to do, and no rewards for doing them.
Okay, guys, I think it's inevitable. I also need to try this game out, and for exactly the reason you may think. To bring to light why
I have so many
PoE2
reactions
is
to
a vastly
compile.
inferior game to the masterpiece we call Diablo 4.
This
But
is
for
such a
real,
good video.
guys, I will be making a lot more videos on PoE2, and
I can't.
think it's inevitable. I also need to try this game out, and for exactly the reason you may think. To bring to light why PoE2 is a vastly inferior game to the masterpiece we call Diablo 4.
This
But
is
for
such a
real,
good video.
guys, I will be
Nice.
making a lot more videos on PoE2, and you probably should be trying this game out yourself. It looks awesome. Please subscribe.
Diablo 4, oh yeah, I swear.
That was really good. I like it in chat. That was really funny.
Awesome. I'm happy you liked
yeah,
it.
I mean, you can't really blame D4 streamers for like as a content creator, our job is to you want to carve out a niche on a game. Like, it could have gone the other way, right? It could have been they were streaming D3 for all this time, and then D4 ended up being amazing, and PoE2 ended up being dog shit, right? You just got to carve out a niche on a game and roll the dice and hope. Did you die in hardcore? Well, yeah, we died to a disconnect. Play the song. I'm still worried it's DMCA-able. So.
It's not. It's not. It's all
video.
AI. He could have played
As a
it.
streamer wins a serious music, he gets PTSD. Yeah.
For 11 months.
It's AI. Doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It does.
There was a PoE streamer that made a song himself, and said "Oh, I made it myself. It's safe," and I got copyright striked for it. So.
Huh. All right, maybe I'll play it. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna set up probably the talk. What interview should I watch? I haven't watched the Talkative Try interview with Jonathan. But he also interviewed someone else the next day. I just gotta figure out what to put on next. I think I might put that on. Watch that for a little bit. Never Sync was a good one. Hold on. I'm gonna play the AI song. I'm gonna look for the Never Sync interview. Everyone's saying that that's a good one. Legendary Drops interview is good too. Okay. All right. Let me get this queued up. All right. Also, for anyone who hates AI songs, I'm gonna play this for a minute, and then once I have the Never Sync interview queued up, I'm gonna pop this off, link it in chat for anyone who wants to just listen to the rest of it. Let's see.
But there's another game that I'm a Diablo 4 super fan. But there's
Fuck. Just completely messed that up. All right, here we go again.
I'm a Diablo 4 super fan. But there's another game that holds my hand. Though I can't admit it in the light. Path of Exile keeps me up at night. When they see me playing PoE, I say it's not what it seems. I'm just testing things, don't you see? But secretly it's my favorite dream. Diablo 4, oh yeah, I swear. I love it more than I can bear. But in the shadows I confess, Path of Exile is my true unrest. In the
All right. I'm going to link this to you guys. This is the song. It's the raw version. I might have it on YouTube one day. You can click on it. You can download it. You can listen to it later. I just want to play the full. It's a 4-minute song. Not everyone's super into the AI stuff. I don't want to this isn't an AI music stream today. So we're going to listen to Talkative Try Talk to Never Sync right now. I hear this is a pretty good interview. I haven't watched many of these interviews, so hopefully this is pretty informative. I'm sure it will be. He's a pretty good interviewer. He's been blowing up lately. Definitely, I'm going to link this before I start playing it, because I believe that's what a good streamer does. Here you go. And YouTube. Okay. All right, let's get started on it. I'll be right back.
Everyone can hear and see you well, Neversink. My first question to you is, are you excited about not needing to do as much work on the filter, perhaps in Path of Exile 2?
Loaded question for the first question, but mixed feelings. So just to expand on that, when I started doing the whole filter work for PoE1,
That's better, right?
It was because I was very unhappy with the item system. Basically, I started it not because I was loving it so much, it's because I wasn't enjoying it so much. So I have like things like shadow myths and assassin's myths and all kind of items. I was just completely unable to remember what item was better and what item was worse. I found it very, very confusing. So I'm very happy that the new system is much more concise. I think in a modern game, this sort of overload of completely pointless loot isn't really good. And I hope that the new filter will be much more focused.
Neversink, I think, does loot filters, but I think I want to hear him talk to Jonathan first. Like, I'll come back to this, but I don't know. When I hear audio quality like this, I tune out a little bit, but I'll come back to it. Yeah, let's watch the Jonathan one first. It is very important to have. Ooh, this one's good too, right? Oh, he watched that. Okay.
Perfect levels, Jonathan.
Nice.
Okay, man. Like I
There we
said
go.
a second ago, you are 9 days out from Path of Exile 2 launching, and everyone I'm talking to is excited. It doesn't matter if they've been playing Path of Exile 1 for years. It doesn't matter if they literally haven't played video games.
This is
ever.
true.
I show them just the snippet from the trailer, and they are ready to log in on December 6th. So my first question, what's the secret sauce? How are you guys doing this? How is Grinding Your Games making non-gamers ready to log into a hardcore ARPG?
I think we just have a like when we're presenting our content, we always do it in a way where we're thinking about, like how are people going to react to it? Like, we just, and the other thing as well is that we're not afraid to put information in our videos. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of like, hey, tone it back a little bit, like people don't need so much information, this kind of stuff. But personally, I'm kind of a fan of just like, let's just put everything out there. And if you do that, I think people get excited. So, I guess that's my philosophy about it anyway. And I think people do resonate with that. If you show them just, show them what you got cooking and show them gameplay, show them, how they be able to, how they're able to use all the tools you give them. And I think they'll be excited.
Definitely. And I hate to bring it up, but it wasn't an interview that dropped today with Legendary Drops. How just during the Settlers of Kalgur reveal, you all pivoted to focus entirely on endgame. How is your company that agile? Because I work at a company of about 70 people.
Right.
We are not agile at all. What are your processes like internally as developers? Like, how can you move on a dime and just go in?
I mean, I guess it's just about not being afraid to do it, right? I mean, certainly it causes some consternation, right? I mean, nobody likes being like jerked around from one task to the other, that kind of thing. But I think it is important because it just gives us the ability to really make sure we're reacting to what we think is important. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what to say really. I mean, just like, we just have to make those kinds of decisions and just tell people, this is really what we have to do. Like when you realize that you're not doing the right thing, you really have to jump on, you can't just sort of say, oh, well, we're just keep going to doing the wrong thing just because there's so much inertia, right? Like you have to actually try to turn the ship around. And so, yeah, that's what we did.
Awesome. All right, Jonathan, I have the interview broken down into various different categories here. I wanted to start with questions about new players in particular and just people logging into the game, playing it for the first time and their experiences. So I wanted to start with the fact that in Path of Exile 1, it's renowned for not many people making it even to Brutus. I mean, I know it's a free-to-play game. A lot of people try it out, but even when it was paid, I'm sure a lot of people bounced early on. So I'm curious, first 5 minutes of Path of Exile 2, do you think that
real quick, guys, who's Brutus? I beat the campaign 3 times in my career of ever playing Path of Exile 1. I barely played. Who is Brutus? First act boss? Okay, great. I've done that. I'm ahead of the curve. Okay, sweet. Good. I don't feel that bad. All right, let's continue watching.
Experience is solid, and you're going to really wrap people in and get them progressing further into the game?
I'm pretty sure it is. And I think that, like, if you're talking about literally the first 5 minutes, then I think that what will really just get you in is the fact that just the feeling of combat is much better. And that's really the thing you're going to appreciate from the first moment that you start playing. The other thing as well is we have a lot of, not necessarily, I mean, in the first 5 minutes, you're going to come upon your first boss, right? And that will be a much more engaging experience than Hillock was, you know what I mean? Like the first boss is significantly better. But even just after that, right? Even the first 15 minutes, there's like other bosses really close. You're sort of getting into that experience of having the more interesting combat and more interesting things going on just sort of right away. And you know, it's funny. I had a friend over at my place who was playing the game the other day. And there was a word I thought was really interesting that he used for this.
Dude,
like,
I
you're
love
so
that.
generous.
I love that Jonathan has a friend over the other day just playing the game. Like, hearing that just makes it like, dude, this dude's a gamer. He's got friends that are a gamer. They hang out together and play these games together. This is what you want to hear from like the head of a game that's being made for you. You don't want like someone coming from like, we brought in this guy, this big honcho from another company. He made them a lot of money. He's going to make us a lot of money. Like, he's just talking about playing the game. Like, that's freaking awesome. Also, real quick before I start playing, I'm just going to say thanks for everyone who's subscribed. All the new follows, DHG, thank you. JD, I'm going to butcher everyone's name. It's kind of what I do. J Debriel, Demo, Cryptex, Lord Zudu, Lemmy CMD, Fog Cloudhorn, Shinken, Alberio, and Reg Next. Thank you all for the follow. All right, let's get back to it.
With the content, and I was kind of like, it's kind of an interesting way to look at it. Is like, you know, like he's kind of like, you're giving people what they want so quickly. It's kind of like, I find that's a kind of an interesting way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, basically, we just want people to have a good time, and even in the from the very beginning, like before we even made Path of Exile 1, like when we founded the company, one of the things that I had as my metric is like, what's the time to first zombie? You know what I mean? Like, when's the first moment you can actually kill something? Like you just kill like a basic enemy. And I kind of want to make that sure that that's as minimal as possible. And that's why we kind of make sure that we start the game the way we do, with like action immediately and that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of just a philosophy we've always had.
Definitely. Getting people right into the action is important.
Yeah.
And
Andrew on YouTube, you don't want to hear a PowerPoint presentation. Just like, this is much more of a relaxed talk. It's like two gamers talking to each other, instead of like, here's this slide. On this slide, we're going to show you 3 bullet points. 1, we're not nerfing Spiritborn. 2, there's nothing coming to the mid-season. 3, we're going to buff classes, but they're not going to even do anything until next season. So, sucks to be you.
Lots of people, especially viewers of my channel, are completely new Path of Exile players. They've never played an ARPG. They never played Path of Exile 1. And they are wondering, in Jonathan's eyes, what is the busted build? What is the archetype?
Dude, I can't believe he answered this
on December 6th.
This is where he talks about Mercenary.
I'm not going to use you for clickbait.
I saw this
Jonathan.
clip.
I'm just wondering, from your view, I know you said people really like the monk that had a high satisfaction score, but is it the most powerful?
Not necessarily. I mean, I honestly don't know that I should be recommending builds particularly. I mean, I've said a few times, I think that, like, I think the Mercenary could be a very good new player-friendly class, both because you're further away from the action and just because of that, like, instant response of everything. Like, if you're going to pick something like the Warrior or something like that, you're going to have to worry about the fact that, you have to commit to attacks and this kind of stuff. Whereas with something like the Mercenary, because it's so fast from the point where you, attack and the point you recover, and also because you're further back, I think that could be a very good choice for new players. But honestly, like, any class can work. Like, any class can be the one that you work. And look, the main reason why we have classes in the first place, like, because I mean, we could be a game that just has like 0 introductory stuff. Like, we already let you
he's such a
choose
giga
between,
Chad.
And mix and match all the different skills and weapons and things like that. So the reason why we have classes at all is because people really want like a stereotype to latch onto when they start the game, to think about like, okay, how am I going to build my character, right? So you show them some things like, you know, like here's a ranger and here's a sorceress and so on. And then when they see that, they immediately get an idea in their head about what kind of thing it is that they might want to do. So I think that when it comes to that, like, you're best off just picking like what excites you, right? Like what.
Yeah, the typical, just pick whatever you want to play. I agree with them. There's going to be so many balance patches going on that really, I think, just go what you think is going to be fun. Most likely they're going to fix it pretty quickly. Also, back to Jonathan being like an awesome fucking dude. Yes, he's someone saying he's play test the game. He's like a manager. He's super integrated into the development. And when you see him, you're like, oh, dude, I can't wait to see what he's going to say. The only time in the history of me watching these type of game reveals and someone coming out and being like, oh my God, that's the dude, that's the guy. It's only happened once before. And if you were playing World of Warcraft back in the day, like around the peak, like Wrath of the Lich King days, and you see Chris Metzen walk on stage, he was like the writer. He played the game. He loved the games. The only other time I felt someone was as Giga Chad as Jonathan was Chris Metzen. So it's rare to see people like this. And I'm very excited they have someone like this on the PoE2 team.
What is the thing that just makes you feel like, oh yeah, I could see how I'm going to play this, right? And so you do that, and then I think you'll have a good time.
I baited you into that answer. That's exactly what we wanted to hear, man. Whatever you're going to have the most fun with. And I'm curious on character selection. I know it was talked about in the past that ascendancies might appear on that screen. Are they still not there, and you find out about them in the trials?
Yeah, they're still not there. Look, that screen is certainly something that needs some UI attention. We just haven't had time to work on it more. There's so many things I would still improve even now. But I mean, look, that's what the early access is for, right? There's going to be tons of time to improve on that stuff. But yeah, for the beginning, it's just like, you know, pick what you think sounds like it would be cool, right? And we do have a few like little videos of skills and things like that on that screen, which like show, you know, and like it kind of gives like, so it gives kind of 3 main points for each class of like, here's the kind of things you can expect from that class. And there's a little video for each one as well. So we've got a little bit of information there, but we don't have like, yeah, full on ascendancy classes and everything there. I think there's room for that sort of stuff, but not at the moment.
Okay, awesome. Now I want to move on to testing and what new players, completely new players to ARPGs, found the most challenging in Path of Exile 2. I've heard that Path of Exile 1 players were just shocked by the difficulty of the combat and the like, and newer players were kind of fine with it. What did they find challenging, though? Because I know you did a lot of first user testing, and I found that very interesting because you're going to get a lot of first users on December 6th. What did they find hard?
So definitely the things they were finding the most challenging was the character customization and itemization stuff, right? Like that's where they're kind of, you know, potentially finding that they, you know, that like, so, I mean, we asked quite a lot of questions about like, you know, what do you feel like you're skilled at and that kind of stuff. Like, you know, try to sort of get a gauge for like, you know, how people rate their own skills in different areas. And it was certainly like understanding itemization that was the part that people found the hardest. So we've actually done quite a few things to improve in that area, I think, since then. I mean, like, it's just kind of subtle stuff, but just over time, we've just been, you know, carefully massaging towards a situation where, you know, it's easier to find the stuff that you need to find. It's, you know, there's more help, there's more guidance. There's also things like, you know, the socketing system being, I think, a lot easier than the crafting bench system that we had and things like that. So there's things like that, I think, that will help a lot. So that's kind of the stuff that I think new players find the hardest. And then I think that's really just because, you know, yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of stats, there's a lot of things kind of coming at you. You know, we just have to make sure that we're not overwhelming you too much with that stuff.
I'm very new to PoE, but I do play ARPGs. I'm like somewhat familiar with PoE, and I played PoE2. I got to like level 12, and as I was leveling, you find skill gems, and it's like a general skill gem. It's like a level 1 skill gem. You basically pick it up, and it's like finding a skill point. You like activate it. It opens up your skill tree, and it's just like, which skill do you want? And I was a ranger, and it was just like, you can get chain lightning arrow, you can get poison arrow, you can get like power shot. And I picked chain lightning arrow because that fucking sounded sweet. And it was pretty easy to figure out. But on the side, you see all the different weapons, and you're just like, you click on it, and you're like, wait, I can go other things. And that was a little could be a little confusing because when I first saw it and I'm familiar with some of these things, I was like, I don't really know what that means or whatever. So I have a bow. I'm a ranger. I'm going to go chain lightning arrow. And that felt easy to me, but I do think they need some kind of like tutorial, not tutorial, but like a way for new players to be like, you can also have a staff and spec into frozen orb and chain lightning arrow or something. Hopefully they make that a little easier for brand new players, but that's my only suggestion, and that's what he's basically talking about now.
And of course, there's the giant passive tree, which always gives people a bit of a scare. That's really the stuff that I would say that new players find the hardest.
Okay, well, awesome. Now, during the
what am I interested in playing? Most likely either a monk with frost abilities or a ranger. I like bow classes usually, but it doesn't. I'm hearing a lot of like negative feedback about the ranger. Like it wasn't super fun to play, and it didn't seem super flashy compared to a lot of other people. And I really like frost magic, and the sorcerer has some frost skills, but there's no ascendancies that amplify it yet. There's only 2 ascendancies. The third one's not out for every class yet, or starting class. And the monk has an ascendancy that I think amplifies frost magic, and it looks pretty cool.
Betas, I know that there were a few closed beta tests. People were freaking out when they first got those NDA invites and everything. Between those tests, what were the largest changes, and did you really change a lot about the game after the tests themselves? Because I know, like, when we went to LA, you took a ton of feedback and made a huge number of changes just between March and June. Did that happen again with all the beta tests this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of it really comes down to difficulty, but the thing with difficulty is that people know the game is too hard.
People are saying that monk is just kind of like a direct copy from the PoE monk until they come out with the 3rd ascendancy class. Okay, that's good to know, because I never really played too much PoE 1. I went a ranger my first playthrough. Then I went 2 other random things. I went Righteous Fire on my second one, and my third one I only got halfway through. It was recently. I was trying to go I think it was like a Templar or something. I don't know what I was gonna go. Rax had a build. Oh no, he copied Zizern's build. It was just like tons of AoE magic and shit. I don't even know what build it was. So I don't think I'd mind playing a ranger, but yeah, you're right. Flicker Strike looks freaking sweet. And when I said, "Oh, it looks like a long cooldown move," someone corrected me. It was like, "It's a long cooldown move, but if you get some other special thing, it makes it almost instant, and you can just spam Flicker Strike," which seems sick. If I can combine Flicker Strike with some kind of like frost magic thing, that'd be so freaking cool.
But they don't know why it's too hard, and the reasons can be hugely varied between like, oh, it's just this one boss ability, to like, oh, the entire way you're scaling spell damage is incorrect.
Oh, I also heard that the Huntress, I think it was in DM's interview, the Huntress and the Druid are going to be out fairly soon. I don't know what the hell that means, but I'm assuming within 3 months of launch, we'll get those 2. Yeah. Hello. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. My audio's back. Let's get the video back. You can hear me? People can hear me? Testing. Holy moly. And my video's back. Okay. We can see me and we can hear me. Jeez, I gotta get a new computer. That's always scary when that happens. All right, we're back, guys. We're back. Let's get back into this. I think I sound fine. Okay, everyone says they can hear me, they can see me. All right, we're good.
Random stuff like that. So there's all sorts of things, and it's always just, you know, can we tease out what exactly it is that people are running into that's the most, you know, that's the reason for the thing they're finding hard. So I think there was a variety of changes. So one of them was like, you know, the map change where, you know, you can see what's out there so you know what to find. A lot of it was down to, you know, more specific item drops around the place. Then there were things like the flask change. So the flask change was pretty big, I think, because that one really was like people dying to because they were fumbling their flasks. But it took quite a while to identify that was like an issue. Like we
Black Friday sales for new computer. I want to get like, I see every single freaking streamer. You see Talkative Try right there with that microphone. That is like the streamer microphone, and I want to get that. I'm using the mid-tier version of that. That is like a Shure SM7B. It's what it's called. And that is the podcast microphone everyone has. Yes, there you go, dude. You know what I'm talking about. There's an SM7DB, so I don't have to get, I'm not going to get into it, but that's what I'm looking to upgrade to, so I can upgrade my audio quality. And I do a lot of voiceover stuff for my videos, so I think it'll be sweet. And I'm trying to do more streaming, so I think obviously I have an excuse for it. And you know, what else do I need? I need to upgrade my graphic card eventually. The 5000 series are going to be coming out soon. I know it's going to be expensive as shit, but then that makes the 4000 series cheaper. So maybe I'll get a 4090 once the 5000s are out, and then hopefully it won't be $2,000 at that point. And other than that, I think that's it. I think my processor is pretty good. I got my processor like 2 years ago. It's like an i7. I gotta see how much RAM I have. I think I have 32 gigs. I do a lot of video editing, so I need at least 32. So I hope I do. Other than that, I think I'll be good. We
knew that I
de-essing. You're talking about de-essing filter. Honestly, you should just test with some de-esser. I throw de-esser in on my videos on, what is it called? My main videos on YouTube. Is there a de-esser filter on OBS? Because that's probably what I'll need to look into.
We kind of knew that we weren't happy with flasks, but I don't think I'd really appreciated the degree to which a new player really did struggle with them. So that's another one of those things. But I mean, look, it's all over the place, and it's like the devil's in the details, really. Because even something like just the exact specifics of the passive tree, even for a new player, even if they're not like going deep on it, like it can actually be worse for new players, because a new player will pick something that's weak without realizing it, and so you need to make sure that everything on there is reasonable. So there's quite a lot, sort of like as I said, it really all comes down to those details that make sure that the game is feeling right. And I think that without doing a lot of those tests, it would have been very hard to appreciate some of those problems, because you just don't, you know, when you're playing.
Have a new donation goal for a new mic and computer. I don't know. I feel I have a job, and that's why you see me streaming at this time most nights, because I can't stream during the day when all the streamers are on. So I'm sorry for people in Europe that can't really watch me. But I feel weird doing a streamer goal or sub goal for items that I need when I have a job and I don't do this full time yet. If I did this full time, sure, I'll have all the fancy, like, please sub to me stuff going on. But for now, I'm just kind of like, just trying to build up followers. My dream is to get 100K subs on YouTube and just get the plaque. And then like my life will be like complete at that point. I'll just be like, all right, I did it. Other than that, I'm just having a fun time, you know?
Playing yourself, there's actually like a tendency where you'll always pick the stuff you kind of know is good subconsciously. So I actually have like a thing when I'm playing now where often I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick what I want, and then I'm going to do the opposite of that. Like in order to kind of force myself down the kind of like the not golden path of like, what if you were the what if I picked the worst choice every time for like, what, you know, like how can I make sure that that's like not too terrible? So that's kind of another thing you kind of have to make sure that you're doing as well.
Definitely. I have two follow-ups from that question. First, and I don't want you to commit to a release cadence or anything, but once we go into early access, do you see the team making large balance changes pretty quickly? Kind of like Path of Exile 1. I'm notorious for going into the freaking ancient history of PoE 1 and seeing that when it first released, weekly updates, going in, making huge balance changes, wild swings back and forth, passive tree resets every like 11 days and the like. Do you see that happening with early access given how much larger scale it seems it's going to be? Or is it going to be more stretched out, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months?
Well, so I think that there's going to be a couple of different things depending on what type of thing we're talking about here. So for balance changes, I have absolutely no doubt that in that first week, we're going to be just doing a storm of crazy things, you know, just because like there'll be, I mean, look, there's going to be cases where like people just haven't tested bosses with certain builds and things like that, right? Like, especially in the end game, which has had, you know, less testing, obviously, than the start of the game. So there's going to just be things where it's like someone will be like, oh, this boss is just impossible with minions. And like, someone probably...
Oh, I thought he was talking about balance testing for classes. Sure. All right. Fix bosses too. That's fine.
Probably did test it with minions at some point to make sure the AI is good, but there probably wasn't like a really, you know, like, is this actually easy enough? Like that kind of stuff. Like you'll get changes like that. And I'm sure there'll just be cases where, you know, we need to make those kinds of changes. So and the other thing that's going to be, I'm sure, is just lots of like someone finds something that's just like not just busted in a normal way things are allowed to be busted, but like busted in a completely ridiculous way that just can't be allowed to stand. I'm sure that will happen. And so long as we can fix that stuff fast enough, I think that we may have to do a few things like that. But ideally we don't, but you know, we'll see how that goes. So I'm sure on the first week there'll just be lots of that stuff. But if you're talking about like larger content inclusions, like if we're talking about like new classes and like more sort of content type things, I suspect that we'll probably batch those up into like a larger cycle. Probably like, I mean, we were thinking like 2 months. It might end up being 3. Like I'm not entirely certain. But we'll kind of like work that out when we go there. The funny thing is like, so like months ago we had plans for what we wanted to do immediately after release, but as you get closer to release, like everything just falls apart and you kind of have to be like, okay, after release we'll just have to take stock and see where we are, because you know, like no contact survives, no plan survives contact with the enemy, as they say. So we have to, we'll just have to sort of reassess and see what's going on at that point. But effectively, yeah, we'll probably do larger updates, just because I think you know, in order to actually get good testing for something, you have to get enough players back to actually test it substantially. And people certainly are much more willing to come back for a larger update than they are.
I agree with him there. Like, you definitely need a lot of players to test things thoroughly. But there are certain things you can test without having a lot of players. Like, and I don't really want to bash too much on this, but of course I kind of do. Do you think having the developer tools, how long would someone like Rax, Woody, Rob take to figure out that the Spiritborn was completely busted? They had like 20 different bugs going on with the Spiritborn. Like, any kind of half-ass testing with the developer tools, you should have realized how broken that class was. It launching with 20 bugs that make it just absolutely busted. It's just like, who's testing this shit? Like, Woody actually knew about the dodge build before the game was out. Like, he was planning on even going it. Like, I can't believe it launched like that. I get so frustrated.
After a smaller one. So I think that's kind of important. We actually noticed in PoE 1 when we were doing the weekly updates that, we didn't really see like a lot of people come back for them. Like, the people who were playing were really happy, but the people who weren't playing it wasn't rising to the level of them actually coming back. So I think it's better to make sure that if you've got a new update for even in early access, you want to make sure there's enough to kind of sustain it. But of course, that doesn't mean that we're not going to fix all the like random small issues that like anything that doesn't like that wouldn't be an attractive thing for someone to come back for. You might as well just put it in immediately, because like that's just that like bug fixes and just little balance changes, because it's not like a big deal anyway. So you might as well just throw it in there.
Yeah, I say dev tools just because it's easy to be like, all right, give myself +5 skill on all of my gear, because that's something I can eventually get, so they don't have to just grind to get all the gear, and they'd be able to find out within like an hour that this shit was broken.
Definitely. Now, I have to ask, because I have been yearning ever since I saw it at ExileCon 2023. the druid, the bear form.
Yeah.
Is that the reasons the druid is delayed? Because it's got crazy animation problems with WASD, or is it just the final bit of polish on the third form?
No, it's not that. It's just literally that we had to pick something. We had to pick when we were slimming down for early access a little bit, because as I said, we're going to have 8. When we're slimming down, we're like, look, unfortunately, the druid is going to have to be on the chopping block for now. It was really sad, but we just had to pick our battles. And I have no doubt that that'll be one of the next ones that comes out. And the reason ultimately is that making a new form for the druid just is a lot of work. One of the forms wasn't done. We looked at the amount of work it would take to get the druid over the line, and we're just like, look, if we can not have that, especially because when it comes to the stuff, it's like if you're talking about adding like a new animal form, that's like work that could go into like making a new boss fight or something like that. Because it's the same kind of, like, it's the animation team. Ultimately, you have to do like a bunch of work to do that stuff. Rigging or just all that stuff has to happen. So it isn't just the sort of skills pipeline, as we might call it, that has to be worrying about that. It's also the the kind of the animation team who work on that stuff. So when we look at that, it's just like, look, if we cut this, it's going to add more content elsewhere, versus if we cut this other class where it wouldn't really so much. So that's kind of how those decisions get made.
Right. That makes total sense. Now I have 2 very quick ascendant.
In PoE 1, we find the broken things with just the patch notes. So when you find the broken things with patch notes and you tell them, do they fix it? I assume they fix it, right?
Questions for you, and then we'll move into classes themselves. First, last time we spoke, when we spoke in March, I tried to get some ascendant.
Blizzard's so scared now. Like the Diablo 4 dev team promised us they won't do nerfs mid-season, because after season 0 or 1, I forgot what it was, they did a sweeping set of nerfs. I think it was season 0, right before season 1 came out. So everyone felt kind of worse, and it just kind of sucked, and everyone was complaining about it. And they came out and they looked so tired and beaten down. And they're like, guys, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to nerf you this bad right before the thing came out, or blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, we're just not going to nerf you guys at all anymore. Some shit like that. And I don't think that was a good thing to say. Like, I don't know. Things need to be balanced. Like, what's fun for me is when I look at the tier list and it's like, there's one class, every class has an S tier build. So I'm just like, ooh, I feel like playing a druid this season. I won't be like way far behind my friend who's playing like the meta build. I just want to be like, I don't mind if I'm a little far behind. The Spiritborn was fucking broken.
Details out of you, and you said you were working on a broken sorceress ascendancy. You didn't know if it was going to make it into the game. Did it make it into the game, or are we not seeing
So that was the Chronomancer, the like time stop and everything. Like I just
all right, they got a broken class confirmed.
The moment we're like, oh, we want to be able to stop time, it's like immediately, that's how do you make that not OP? It was absolutely that. It's very fun to use. It's just really cool.
Awesome. Glad to hear it made it into the game. And then the other ascendancy question: can you change ascendancies in PoE2?
So you actually can't right now. I think I did another interview recently where I thought that we could, but I believe that you can't at the moment. There's probably more discussion to have about that. I do know that certainly some designers are very keen to be that a locked choice. We'll talk about that more. We'll see how that goes. But at the moment you can't, and so that'll be how it goes into early access anyway.
Okay, so for the foreseeable future, once you pick an ascendancy,
not necessarily. We'll as I said, we'll talk about this more, but but in the moment at least, you can't change them.
Okay, sounds great. Now classes, just broad questions about the classes from me. So you've talked about the monk having the highest satisfaction score for everyone who's tested. Which class has the lowest satisfaction score, and what are you doing to perhaps bring it up, if anything?
I think I heard it was a sorcerer.
The one thing to say is that the difference between these is not like super high, but the lowest one on that survey that we were referring to was actually the sorceress, funnily enough.
A sorceress.
And I think that the reason for it is just because in the skill set, there's not like quite as much combo stuff as what some of the other classes have, and so we actually, after that point, we did work a bit on that and try to sort of improve, make a few more of those things sort of work together a little bit. But I think there's a little bit more work to do. I think that what I've heard some people say about the Sorceress is it's a little bit more in the PoE1 direction of like there's less kind of like less cross element combinations than what some of the other classes have. So therefore, like if you do pick that class, like there will probably be more situations where it's like there's less, like you're probably going to use less skills overall than other classes, or rather, it's not so much that you will use that, but like you won't be forced into as much using more variety. So I think that's something we can still improve by just adding more synergies between the elements. But that's at least my understanding of probably why I think that's the case. But as I said, we've already made some changes since the point when we did that survey. So I think that it already is, like somewhat improved already by that.
Okay, I'm seeing some talk about Steam keys and stuff. If I bought the $30 support pack on Steam to get early access, am I just in, or do I have to find where the key is? This is the base package, the $30 package. Like, am I in now, or I have to find the key and activate it? I may end up upgrading to a more advanced package, but right now I just have the $30 package to start playing. Yes, I'm in. Okay, great. Good. Good. That's good to know. Thank you. Because I did say if there are no server problems and we start at 3 p.m. on Eastern time without any issues, I will be gifting a key, and I'll have to go and figure out how to get a key. I highly doubt that's going to happen. That's why I said it, of course. Just had to make sure. Thank you.
But yeah, that was the thing. But I mean, as I said, we're talking like 0.1 of a like if you out of 5 stars, it's like 0.1 of a star lower than the others.
Is the pre-download out for Steam? I saw it was for Xbox. Is pre-download ready for Steam right now? No? Okay. All right. All right, thanks.
And like when you sort of dig into it, it's like, yeah. But I mean, as I said, I think that's at least my reason for for why I think the Sorcerer is like that. But yeah, that's kind of, I mean, as I said, we can always improve that, and I think we have been as well.
Yeah, awesome. Just wanted to hear. I thought it would be a curious question.
Yeah.
Now, this one, I don't know if you can answer it or not, but everyone knows there's a monk in Path of Exile 2. Monks use quarterstaffs. Monks use their fists a little bit with finishers. And, mobility skills.
With this.
Are there any unarmed combat support options? Is the default attack supportable with your fist? Can you make something busted with it? What is that a thing in PoE2 right now? Or
so I believe that default attack is supportable. I'm like 99% certain of that, but I have to admit, I haven't actually seen that user interface myself because I haven't made an unarmed build. There is a plan for a bunch of unarmed build support, but it actually did get cut for early access for the time being. So unfortunately, I can say that Facebreakers will not make it in to early access, but we do have a plan for it. There is like a whole thing for that's going to support that with other stuff. Now, one of the reasons for that actually is that it would require making unarmed versions of a ton of skills, like animations.
Oh, okay.
There's actually it ended up being cut just for that reason alone. Like it was just a bunch of animation work that we ended up not having time for. And effectively, you're talking about a bunch of animation work that's just to support that one unique. Because like that unique really is like kind of the key to being able to make unarmed damage like actually decent. There were a couple of other things as well that were sort of intended for unarmed things, but yeah, we're not going to do it for now. But it'll come in the future. We'll get to the point where you can do that.
Okay. Is Facebreakers still a pair of gloves in PoE2?
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. This is a fun one just for you, Jonathan. What is your favorite skill to use in Path of Exile 2 right now? I know you're a mercenary fan. You're playing through as the mercenary right now. Is it on the merc? Or something else?
It's probably the mercenary.
That is really tricky. Look, I mean, if we're talking about the merc, then my favorite thing is definitely the ice wall that shot. What's it called?
Ice wall?
I can't remember even the name of it, but it's the one that fires a shot and then makes like 2 diagonal ice walls that come out.
Ooh, I like that.
And then following up with the fragmentation rounds to explode them. Like I just love that combo. It just feels really satisfying to me. But it's like obviously like every class there's interesting stuff. Like on the monk, it's probably the bell. Like I just love that bell. There's so many little things about its design.
I don't know if I really love the bell.
It's just a fun skill. Like I love that kind of thing. So those are definitely up there for two of my favorites. But I mean, there's always new stuff. There's lots of cool things, right? That's just the kind of stuff that I like to do.
The bell is incredible, and you guys even snuck a showcase of it with a crossbow rapid shot
Yes,
into the.
yes. Yes.
That was so good.
just to give a hint to the idea that there might be some pretty interesting ways that you can do some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, definitely. All right, rapid fire question here. Can we use the weapon swap system passive skills to allocate keystones, or can they only allocate notables and travel nodes?
So you can't do keystones, but I actually do have some interesting stuff to talk about with this, because we were originally going to allow that. But then, so the skill that actually originally was like the completely broke.
If you play co-op, can your friends hit your bell? That's a good question. Yes. Someone says yes. 2 people say yes. Multiple people say yes. That's ridiculous. Holy shit. All right, maybe the bell's pretty cool.
Broke this, that we realized like this was going to be like not okay, was Necromantic Aegis, funnily enough. Which now, for anyone who doesn't, who hasn't played PoE1, effectively what this does is it makes it so the stats from your shield are transferred onto your minions. But when you've got weapon swap involved, where like like if you can turn that on and off, it causes the specific details of this are kind of complicated, but it caused a lot of chaos in like how the stat system worked and like how the minions would have to work and like the snapshotting of this and like just a whole lot of details around that were very complicated. And then at some point while we were discussing that, because we kind of were like, okay, how are we going to even implement this? It was like a whole thing. Then we're like, well, hang on, like, is it even okay for other keystones anyway? Like, when you really come right down to it, like, is chaos inoculation really okay if you can turn it on and off? Like, it's kind of supposed to be this like massive downside, and like if you can just like, like it's kind of like we're kind of thinking maybe it wasn't okay, and then we sort of made the decision, you know what, maybe keystones should actually be not swappable like that, just because of the type of. I think that might be a balance problem too far even for us, like even as far as we're willing to like accept a lot of these kinds of problems. Like I think that might even be a bridge too far even for us. So yeah, we decided not to allow it, and that's what we're going with for now anyway.
Yeah, you knew people were already theory crafting ways to like get the perfect keystones on their side. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Hey, Quicksilver.
Another rapid fire. If you know off the top of your head, how many passive points are there in total? Because people are already looking at the tree and trying to path through it.
Sure. Now. I believe it's 122 is the final count, and once you get all of the optional skill books and stuff like that.
Okay, awesome. Another rapid fire. This is a spicy one though. Are you able to do a 1-button respec if you have enough gold, or if you pay a premium, or is it 1 node at a time?
You will have to do 1 node at a time. And like, the thing is, I mean, yeah, I guess I can see why people would want that. But generally speaking, that's not the kind of behavior we're really encouraging, right? Like we want you to actually be changing your build from one to the other. So yeah, there's just a 1 node at a time. I mean, look, it won't take you too long, right? You can click 100 times even if you're level 100. Like it's not too bad.
It won't take you too long.
I know it won't.
They might have that eventually, but right now it won't take you too long. I'll accept that. I did that in Diablo for like 6 seasons.
I get it. I totally get it. Another one. So we've seen this key term overflow a few times, and some people are wondering how it works. Could you explain how it works?
Yeah, so anytime you've got something that says overflow, it means that you're able to overcap that resource by up to double. So effectively, overflow just means, like if it's leech, or if it's like, any other kind of thing that gives you back life, or for example, or mana or shield or whatever it is, it basically just means, you can get back up to double of that resource.
Okay, awesome. That makes sense even to me, and I'm pretty simple-minded.
They're never gonna have it where you respec in 1 button. Okay, that's just they're not their thing. If anything, I'll make a second character. I'll have 2. I definitely shit. They didn't mention like leagues at all in early access, right? So I assume leagues will start when the game launches. Is that correct? And if that's the case, I'm just gonna make a bunch, like one of every. I'll make so many different alts. They don't want you swapping fast. They did every 2 to 3 months during early access as a league. Holy shit. They're doing leagues in early access? That's fucking sweet. That is so sweet. Okay. All right. So this comes out December. December 6th. So let's just say 3 months. Let's say we give him 3 months. So January, February, March. So like in March, the end of March, maybe there'll be the league or second league, which is good because that gives me 1 month at least to play Monster Hunter Wilds, which I'm looking forward to.
About these mechanical sort of things. Awesome, thank you. All right, another rapid fire. Can you use skills granted by ascendancies in meta gems like Cast on Shock?
No, you can't. So when you get one of those ascendancy skills, they effectively just appear in your skill screen. Like they're not a gem; they're just kind of like there and locked in by that. So because you can't take them out and put them somewhere else, you can't put them in a meta gem.
Okay. And then meta gems, can you use multiple of the same meta gem? I know you can't repeat supports, but can you have 2 cast on ignites in your build?
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
Nice,
but of course,
nice.
you'll have to pay the spirit cost for both of them. So that's how that's balanced, and that's why it's fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you guys released a teaser yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw a scepter minion ascendance or not ascendancy.
Yeah.
Oh, the second scepter that looked like a mirror tier item, which was just awesome to see. All right, now we're gonna move on from classes, and we're gonna talk a little bit about combat.
Okay.
So when I played Path of Exile 2, the Draven fight and the Executioner fight hard locked me for combined
Right.
about 4 hours. What
Right.
right now do you think is the hardest boss fight in Path of Exile 2's campaign? Not the end game, but the campaign itself.
Right.
And do you think it potentially is going to hard lock a lot of players if they're stubborn and they get that
Right.
Elden Ring mindset where they're just like, I'm just going in over and over. I'm not
Right.
stopping until it hits 0.
Well, so we've definitely tried to improve the issues that we had with that in that one. But what I would say is that the further you go into the game, the less kind of like of the feedback we've been able to address overall. Just because if there's less of it, right? Like as you go further, and so effectively what that means is that I have no doubt that if there's a boss that's going to hardlock people, it's almost certainly going to be in Act 3. I would say something like that. But I mean, on the same time, like ideally the hardest bosses are later in the game. Like that's kind of what you want in some sense. So yeah, like I mean, look, some of those fights are pretty hard. I don't know that there's one that
Quicksilver, I don't know if you can post links in my stream chats, but what video are you trying to post? Also, if you go to my Discord, you can post any links there. I can take a look at it. Luminaxar, have a good night, dude.
I'd point to is like this is the hard one. Really, I mean, as
The Diablo delicacies, dude. I'll look that up real quick. I'm not gonna watch the full video. It's gonna be completely stupid. And people are here to watch PoE2, but geez, Diablo, how are you even? What are you even doing? What are you doing? Ah. Okay, so this is their competition. This is what Diablo's coming out with. A cooking video. Literally this is the Diablo wait, are people see? Yeah. This is the Diablo channel, main channel. This is how to cook stuff. You need to know this. Let's see here. LOL, the Diablo cookbook costs more than PoE early access. Oh my god. They're selling a cookbook and it costs more than PoE early access. Just a friendly reminder that Path of Exile 2 early access comes out on December 6th, so do yourself a favor and check it out. Dude, oh my god. This is some Diablo-like food. Wow. Nice, looks very PoE-like. It's official, D4 is cooked. Dude, this is brutal. Yo, those comments are... you know what? That might go into my next video. Holy shit. Thank you for the tip there, dude. So I'm adding in a comment. D4 cooking video plus comments. That is ridiculous. Have a good night there, D-Man. Yeah, we're not going to watch this anymore. We're going to go back to actual good content.
As I said, we kind of try to make sure that they're all kind of a relatively even keel.
Wait, there's a hog video on it? Hold on. Jeez. Oh, okay. We're doing this again. We're doing this. Okay. Give me a second. Oh my God, is my camera screwed? Okay, you can hear me. Sweet. My camera might be completely screwed up. Let me